Brydan Klein is an Australian-born British professional tennis player. He prefers to play on a fast surface, such as grass or hard. Klein has yet to become an active competitor on the main ATP Tour. However, he did receive a wildcard from Tennis Australia for the 2008 Australian Open, but lost to Paul Capdeville in the first round of the Grand Slam event. He is a winner of the Junior Australian Open. Currently, Klein competes mainly on the ATP Challenger Series and ITF Men's Circuit. Career Early career Klein began his professional tennis career playing on the ITF Men's Circuit in various events across Australia aged just 15. He featured sporadically on the ITF circuit throughout 2005 and 2006, winning his first title alongside Brydan in a doubles event in Traralgon in October 2006. During that year, he also competed at challenger level for the first time in his career. At the start of 2007, Klein competed in the Australian Open Junior Championships, and won the event after beating Jonathan Isaac in 3 sets in the final. This resulted in Klein reaching a career-high juniors ranking of number 4. Throughout 2007, Klein began playing futures tournaments on a much more regular basis, and secured his first singles title in Sautel, Australia in October that year, beating Miles Armstrong 6-1, 6-3 in the final. At the start of the following year, he received a wildcard into the main draw of the 2008 Australian Open, although lost 4-6, 5-7, 4-6 to Paul Capdeville in the opening round. Shortly after, he returned to futures action and earned his second singles title win in Mildura, defeating number 1 seed Nathan Healy in the final. He went on to win a further 2 singles titles during the year, both of which coming away from Australia, in New Zealand and Belarus respectively. Klein ended 2008 ranked number 256, a ranking that was 350 places higher than his year-end 2007 ranking. 2009 Euro 2012 Klein received wild-card entries into both the Brisbane International and the 2009 Australian Open. A first-round loser in Brisbane, Klein acquired his first Grand Slam victory at the Australian Open against Paragraph RN for 6-4, 6-3, 4-6, 6-3, before falling to Stanislas Wawrinka in straight sets in the second round. Following his Australian Open efforts, Klein won the 2009 McDonald's Burney International, the first challenger title win of his career. He did not lose a set during the tournament, securing the title courtesy of 6-3, 6-3 victory over Gregor Angstrom 1/2 EMLJA in the final. Klein followed the win up by securing both singles and doubles futures victories in Mildura the following week, having also won the singles event in 2008. He beat Brydan in the final of that tournament, before teaming up with him to win the doubles title. Following his impressive start to 2009, Klein was called up to represent Australia at Davis Cup level, and played in Australia's 3-2 win over Thailand in a second-round match, although lost his match to Daniil Domkoch. He also entered the 2009 French Open, but lost in the opening qualifying round to Kevin Anderson. Klein began to play at challenger level and on the ATP World Tour throughout 2009 to little success, although did reach a career singles high of number 174 when he reached a last 16 during his controversial participation at the 2009 Aragon International. He ended 2009 by returning to playing at futures level in Australia, with a year-end ranking of number 200. His 2010 campaign started slowly, with first-round qualifying defeats in Brisbane, Sydney in the 2010 Australian Open, before suffering a first-round loss in the Burney Challenger, the tournament he had won a year earlier. By February 2010, his ranking had dropped 200 places to outside the top 400 after failing to defend his ranking points. Klein subsequently returned to the futures circuit in an attempt to regain form, and was able to secure his first singles title in over a year when he defeated compatriot John Millman in 3 sets in Little Rock, Arkansas in April 2010. Klein returned to Australia, and proceeded to win 2 further futures titles, both of which on clay, within the space of a week in early May that year. In the summer of 2010, he headed to North America to prepare for the 2010 US Open, and played in various challenger tournaments as part of his preparation program ahead of the tournament, reaching the quarter-final stage of both the Comerica Bank Challenger in Aptos, California, as well as the Challenger Bank National de Granby in Granby, Quebec, Canada. Despite his extensive stay in the continent, Klein suffered a convincing 3-6, 1-6 loss to Kevin Kim in the opening qualifying round of the US Open. During the latter stages of 2010, Klein reached 4 straight finals and futures tournaments in Australia and New Zealand, but lost all 4. He ended 2010 ranked at number 214. Similarly to 2010, Klein's start to 2011 witnessed a number of first-round losses, including another opening round qualification defeat at the Australian Open, this time at the hands of Konstantin Kravchuk. Klein had been banned from competing for a main draw wildcard for the event following a string of on-court misdemeanors. Todd Woodbridge, Tennis Australia's director of men's tennis, stated the ban was for numerous accounts of unacceptable behaviour at tournaments both locally and internationally. During the first 3 months of the year, Klein won just 1 main draw match from 9 tournaments. He struggled for form throughout the year, and competed at futures level for the remainder of his 2011 campaign, yielding just 1 singles title in Kalgoorlie, Australia, in October. Klein remained in Europe for most of the year, and won 5 doubles titles during his time there, and a further 3 towards the latter stages of the year in Australia, all of which at futures level. Klein ended the year ranked number 451 in singles, a drop of over 200 places from his 2010 ranking. Klein took a 3-month break from the circuit from October 2011 to late January 2012, returning to action in the qualifying draw at the 2012 McDonald's Burney International, although was beaten by Dane Propaglia in straight sets in the second round of qualifying. The following week, he improved to reach the quarter-finals of the 2012 Caloundra International. Klein then reached the final of the Futures event in Mildura in February 2012. An event that he had previously won twice, but lost to Hiroki Maria in 3 sets. He spent the summer months of the year playing in Turkey and Spain futures events, beating Frenchman Jules Marie to win in Baguio, Spain, as well as securing 2 titles in Turkey by beating the young Italian Lorenzo Giustino in the final in Tekirdağ and then Mohamed Safwat in Antalya. He also won consecutive challenger doubles titles alongside compatriot Dane Propaglia. Firstly in San Benedetto del Tronto and then in Recanati. Klein's fine form during the summer continued when he reached the semi-finals of the 2012 President's Cup in Astana, Kazakhstan, before losing to the eventual champion, Evgeny Donskoy. His performances throughout the year enabled him to earn a place in qualifying at the 2012 US Open, where he was defeated by Carol Beck in the second round of qualification. During the year, he won 3 singles titles, as well as 12 doubles titles, ending 2012 ranked at number 241 in singles and number 134 in doubles. 2013 Klein began the year by competing at the 2013 Australian Open, but lost in straight sets in the first round of qualifying to Ricardo Guedin. Klein and doubles partner Propaglia reached another challenger doubles final, but lost to the pairing of John Patrick Smith and Ruan Rolfes at the 2013 McDonald's Burney International. The pair would go one better in early March 2013, securing their 3rd challenger title by beating Alex Bolt and Nick Kyrgios in the final of the 2013 Nature's Way Sydney Tennis International. The result gave Klein a career-high doubles ranking of number 118. Switch to Great Britain. In April 2013, the LTA, the national governing body of tennis in Great Britain, were informed of Klein's desire to switch his nationality from Australian to British through the International Tennis Federation. A month later, it was announced that Klein had completed his switch to playing under a British licence. Despite being born in Rockingham, Australia, his mother was from Manchester, England, and therefore Klein was able to switch allegiance. The move followed Tennis Australia's decision to withdraw their support for Klein following a fractured relationship with Klein having a very checkered history of on-court behaviours. Klein stated it was a move he had been thinking about for 4 years. It was a very difficult decision and I've had it in the back of my mind for 4 years, but haven't wanted to go forward with it. Finally, I thought, look, I'm 23, I need a new environment, I need to do something to give myself a chance to improve my game. The move also allowed Klein to ease the financial burden that has meant he had to fund the previous 3 years of touring himself, only gaining access to a coach when he was competing in Turkey. He hoped the move would help realize his dream of making a living out of the sport I love, which would be making top 100 singles and top 50 doubles. Klein also spoke of further aspirations of competing for the Great Britain Davis Cup team in the years to come. There's Davis Cup if they want me and my ranking is high enough and, of course, they have a Grand Slam the same as us, so there's opportunities there. Number 3 is within shooting range of playing Davis Cup, but obviously I'm not going to go in expecting to play Davis Cup for a few years. Shortly after the switch, Klein entered the qualifying for the 2013 French Open, but lost in straight sets in the first round of qualification to French wildcard, Matthias Bourgeois. Personal: Klein has grown up in a tennis household. His father, Vern, was a coach and high school teacher and his older brother also played tennis competitively for a short time. 6-month ban. In July 2009, Klein accepted a 6-month ban from the ATP after racially abusing an opponent at a tournament in England. He used the racist term kafir to describe South African player Raven Klaasen at the grass-skirt event in Eastbourne. He was suspended by the Australian Institute of Sport, meaning he received no funding, coaching or fitness support during the length of his ban. He agreed to complete a racial sensitivity course, and issued a public apology for his actions, stating during the second set, after losing a point, I audibly used a racial slur. It was not my intention to racially vilify my opponent or cause offense to anybody else and I am deeply embarrassed that I behaved in this manner. I deeply regret my serious error in judgment in using this word and I am very sorry for the offense this has caused. After the match I called my opponent Raven and apologized for what had happened and also apologized for any offense caused to his support team. He was fined $14,000 by the ATP, the maximum possible amount by the organization, and later fined a further $10,000 following a full investigation into the incident. Talking about the incident in December 2010, Klein's father said it is sad to see him continually punished for what was, in truth, one single word muttered inaudibly over 18 months ago. It was reported inaccurately then and continues to be. The way he was disciplined, you would think it was a constant, repeated offense. What pains me most is the way that, more than a year later, Brydan's indiscretion is still being dragged up again and again. He didn't actually know what the meaning of the word kafir was. He actually heard the South African player say it. He thought it was a swear word, so when he said it, he obviously had no idea what he was saying. He was only 18 years old and the other person didn't even hear it and it didn't really affect the match. I was there, sitting close to where Brydan was as humanly as possible apart from being on the court, and you couldn't hear anything. If you had been there you wouldn't have heard anything either, so it's not like he was ranting or raving at his opponent, calling him names and being racist, because he's anything but. One day he will be able to tell the truth, but right now he is stuck from telling the truth. Singles titles equals Challenger finals equals Futures titles equals Doubles titles equals Challenger finals equals Futures titles equals. References. External links: Brydan Klein at the Association of Tennis Professionals, Brydan Klein at the International Tennis Federation, Klein recent match results, Klein world ranking history.